Welcome back and thank you for staying with KTN Prime. Just a reminder of a big key tonight. It's all about the Kenya Kwanza administration marking the second year in office. And we ask, how do you rate the performance of Kenya Kwanza administration over the last 2 years in power? Send your views to 22151 or use X at Ashley Mazuri at KTN News KE. The hashtag to use is KTN Prime, and I'll be sampling some of your feedback. Remember, we'll be having that particular conversation shortly. We'll be joined by Kevin Osidos, an Executive Director, County Governance Watch, and Frank Mukwanja, Executive Director, Center for Multi-Party Democracy. But right now, let's talk about education, and I want us to cross over live to Machakos University, where KTN is having a town hall on the university funding model. Let's cross over live.
We are set to be back live. Okay, welcome back. We continue with the deliberations right here, centered on the new varsity funding model. And I must tell you, the conversation off air was as enticing as it was while we were on air. So many questions, so many learned questions, mind you. And luckily, we have an esteemed panel that can answer some of these questions. We're coming to you live from Machakos University. And just as we conclude, I'll give roughly 1 or 2 minutes each to my panelists, because there have been questions that have been raised that need to be answered. But we equally need your closing remarks as we close this truly auspicious town hall event that has poked holes into the equity around this funding model. So I'll start with you, Madam Beatrice Elachi. As we finalize, would you have any comments around this late disbursement of funds? As a member of parliament, what can be done to ensure that this capitation is not just released, but is released in a timely manner? As you give us your final comments.
Well, first is to really thank the comrades, because I think even just those who started the first cohort, and indeed as the student is saying, it didn't have a lot of challenges that we have faced on this second. I don't know whether it's because more students now came in or what really happened. It's something we also need to look at from our side. But also to just tell all the comrades, I think we have now a bill, and we are going to centralize all the bursaries. By the time we finish the year, I think we will want to see year 9 start on well. And so I think most of the bursaries will just come at a central place and ensure all names come at one central place also, so that you don't find yourself with so many people supporting you and others don't have. But then lastly, as we finalize, I think there were a few things that it was Helen who raised, and she really asked this issue of ID cards. And I'm thinking, why can't we also, as comrades are looking at the whole process, some of them will come in with no IDs. Can we allow the process that a student can use the student card he or she was using when he was finalizing Form 4 to use as they join in, and then when they get their IDs, it just seamlessly, automatically now becomes the ID after that, so that every student does not come and say, I don't have an ID, I wasn't able to do this. We can just, and that's why that NEMIS number is very critical, because if you had a NEMIS number, then you don't need the ID, you don't need all this, you just need your NEMIS number, and then after you get the ID, then you just move on. So I just want to thank you all, and I know every student here, you know, you have a challenge, you have to face, there's a lot of stress and all these things. So I know also from our side, we must try our best to also bring in applications that we know will not also create more mental stress than we have in young people today. Thank you.
Well, thank you for that. Let's cross over to Kingori Ndegwa, the head of lending at HELB. One issue, late disbursement. The second issue, that this band system issue is not simply a student concern. Like, they're not the source of these challenges simply. It could be a systematic issue as well. Your response?
Let me start by the issue of the IDs, students without IDs. You are able to apply for your loan and scholarship without an ID. You can use your index number, then they'll ask you for the birth certificate number. This year we have about 55,000, almost half of the students don't have IDs. The other one is on the new funding model, whether it is supporting comrades and whether it is eliminating HELB. The issue of the new funding model was covering the full cost of the program, except what the parent was supposed to pay. And some of the parents were paying between 5%, 20%, and the maximum for the middle class is 40%. So the issue, the HELB should not be there. However, most of the parents panicked when they saw the initial letter with 600,000. But now that has been collected, and there is a new letter showing exactly what you are going to contribute. We are aware that students doing engineering, medicine, and so on, the amount is slightly higher compared to other courses. However, even in the same class, if you're doing medicine, the two of us, one of them is paying 30,000 per year, another one is paying 140 per year, depending on the level of need, because the model is allowed program cost and your level of need.
Okay.
In terms of, so Kingori, my name is Kingori Degwa, so I can see she's also Kingori Degwa. Yeah, the HELBs can be there, maybe just to prepare you to come back to school, because you also need to do some shopping, everything, before your money can come. However, there is no need of a Harambee, and most of the students entered university without any money from Harambee, and the universities, the vice chancellors were kind enough to receive them without money. Some of them were even given accommodation for free, pending the release of HELB.
Okay.
Maybe the other one is delays. We do not anticipate any delays going forward, but sometimes because of the competing issues at the National Treasury, you might find that prioritization is being done on some cases which are very urgent, like security. But we have also told them that even comrades are supposed to go to school, they are supposed to buy food, they are supposed to pay rent.
Okay.
So we are getting our money in very good time.
All right.
Lastly, maybe it's just to give everybody hope. If you have a dream, we'll support it. If you come from a poor home, you are a person of interest to us. You are the person we are going to look for. Some of you, we are going to come to your homes if you have deferred studies. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Manyasa, in a minute or so, your final remarks, briefly.
Very briefly, I just want to challenge those in government here to be forthright and speak to the students directly. It is not fair if I am not happy for you to tell me I am happy. It is actually up to me to know if I am happy. And the reason I'm saying this is because we were in another town hall like this. The chair of the VCs was there. And the question of will the students who have not paid fees be allowed to sit exams was put directly to him. And he said the university's rule will apply. The vice chancellor of that university was present. She was asked, what is the university's rule? He said, you have to clear the fees before you sit the exam.
Okay.
So let us speak to these young people directly. They are intelligent enough to process the truth.
All right, all right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's close with the remarks of Professor Romana Sudhiambo briefly.
Thank you very much. I said earlier that you are students, you are in your time to prepare for your future, and the future is here starting with you, the way you read, the way you do your research, the way you do everything. Please do it well. The fruits of education are normally very sweet, but the path that leads to that sweetness is tough, sometimes it's bitter, it's stressful, it's depressing. And one of them is actually paying the fees and looking for the money. But I would like to really encourage you that it is possible. After all, you are only here for 4 years, 5 years, and then after that, you have another 30, 40, 50 years. So invest your time on it. The government has set up a committee of students, comrades like you, that are going to relook at some of these things, process what you are saying in all these town halls, and see how we can co-create together a better solution going forward.
Okay.
And change is always a process. There's storming, and I think we are storming. We have stormed enough. We should now normalize and start moving on and performing. That's my prayer for you. We mean well. We are your parents. We are your professors.
Okay.
And I think we mean well for you.
Thank
you.
you.
I want you to believe on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Romana Sudhiambo. He's the VC for Meru University. It would be proper to hear from the representatives of the academic staff right here at Machakos University. So in a minute or so, let's give the DVC academics some room to welcome us officially and give us his contribution briefly.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Professor James Muola, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academic and Student Affairs, Machakos University. Let me take this opportunity to welcome you to Machakos University officially, and thank you for choosing Machakos University for this conversation. We feel very honored for that. And also pass the apology of my Vice Chancellor, Professor Joyce Agalo, who I'm sure she's following from where she is. We are in touch. Just to share the experience in our university, we were expecting 3,000 students. 86% and above have already reported. The challenge that we have seen is that quite a big number of them are placed in band 3 and 4. And I'm sure quite a good number of them have appealed. And we trust that they are going to be looked at positively, because what we have seen is that there are very genuine cases of students who are in band 4 and band 5, and they are extremely needy. So we expect that as they appeal, the appeals are going to be considered positively. And I also want to appeal to our students to, as they appeal, to make sure that they give the correct information so that the MTA system can be able to press them appropriately.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor, and thank you for playing host as well. That's how we wrap up this edition of the Town Hall meeting. I hope most of your questions have been answered. It's just a form of public participation in order to get the students to ask the questions directly. As members of the Fourth Estate, we are only here to echo what the masses need in terms of answers. My name is Jesse Rogers. Over to my colleague.
Shukran sana Jesse Rogers kwa mazungumzo ambayo yamekuwa ni ya kina na vile vile kudadavua masuala mbalimbali ambayo yamekuwa yakizingira suala hili la mafunzo haya ambayo ni ufadhili wa elimu ya vyuo vikuu. Mimi sina la ziada kwa upande wangu, pia kuwashukuru wote waliojitokeza kuja kuchangia katika mazungumzo haya. Niseme kwaheri. Mimi ni Suleiman Yeri, kwaheri, uwe na usiku mwanana.